Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Total Drama What If. Today we're going to be doing What If Brick was in World Tour. Alright, let's get started. So, I think it's fairly self explanatory in the fact that Brick would probably be one of the first people to make it onto teams. So, I think that means he very obviously makes it into Team Victory. So, Bridget goes to Team Chris. So, because of that, episode 2, Rick, he's like really loyal in that, so I don't think he's going to cause any disturbance in the team. He's just going to go with the flow, do what he gets told, but orders and that. So I think there's not much saving Ezekiel. He just kind of goes here still. So episode 3. So I mean, the other two, these would stay the same. I mean, Team Chris would probably just do even better with Bridget here. So, Brick, would he like the samurai idea? He obviously would not like it. It's not a good idea. That's understandable. But would he go along with it if he's told? He probably would. He's not going to cause an objection, I don't think. So, because of that, I think most likely that Harold still goes here because he's still the one that chose the topic. He's still going to sacrifice himself, so he still goes here. Not much of a change so far, but Episode 4. Now, because Bridget's on Team Chris, I look at it and I reckon Brick would be the fastest person, so DJ wouldn't be like sabotaging his team, even though they didn't even come last. It's just they came without Bridget. But with Brick, they'll do even better. So I think they'll definitely come like first or something, because Brick will be good at this challenge. And then apart from that, I'm pretty sure that Team Amazon was the team that came last year. I could be wrong, but if not, well, I don't know. But I'm just gonna say they are. And if you're looking at it, I think at this point Heather's still the most hated member on the team. Sierra's not done enough to Cody to make him hate her, so I think Heather's very easily the vote off here. And now episode 5, non-elimination. So episode 6, I believe, is also a non-elimination, as it is. So then we go to episode 7. Episode 7, Slapshot Revolution. Now, if we're taking 4 members, there's no longer Heather here. So I'm gonna say it goes Lashana, Brick, Alejandro, and Sierra. I'm gonna do Brick versus. Oh wow, actually, if I wanted a canon matchup, I can't really. Yeah, let's do Lashana versus Alejandro, Brick versus Sierra. So because of that, I think that Alejandro beats Lashana, and I think Brick's really respectable, so he won't say anything to Cody. So I'm fairly confident that even though Sierra's really strong, she doesn't have an incentive to really use her strength she has for some reason. So I'm fairly confident Brick could win this. So Alejandro and Brick, that doesn't really matter because Team Amazon, they lose then. So because of that, again, at this point, um, Courtney's not liked because of action. Sierra's not liked because she's stalking Cody. I think they're more likely to vote out Sierra here. Cody's going to be wanting it badly at this point, so I think it's fairly easy for them to vote off Sierra. Save Courtney for now. Right, episode 8, non elimination. So we go to episode 9, the Louvre episode. Now, I'm going to say that DJ's animal curse at this point is still in full effect. He does what happens in canon. He destroys the statue, and it's no longer a tiebreaker. And he wanted to get himself voted off anyway. So this time, instead of having to go into the tiebreaker, he would just vote himself off. So there we go. Team victory lose there. So we go to episode 10 on elimination. Episode 11, Jamaica. So I think Brick would be good at this. Lindsay's bad. Lashana's pretty good. Noah, oh, obviously, still Izzy gets injured. that is that. So yeah, so Noah, Owen, Bridget, Alejandro, Tyler. So I think Noah and Owen are bad at this. Bridget is good. Tyler is bad. So I think though the team is still like, but then Team Amazon, they'll be, I'm just gonna say, just make it funny that Team Amazon are gonna be the new Team Victory. And I think at this point, I think they're going to vote out Courtney because obviously I think Gwen and Cody have a good relationship, and obviously Gwen and Courtney get one too, but it's only after this episode that really starts to blossom. Yeah, so we're in episode 13 now. This is the episode Duncan comes back. I'm still fairly confident on the fact that Team Chris would get Jack the Ripper. And then it's just, would they get Duncan? Now, I feel like even though Gwen and Courtney were technically the people that found Duncan, to me it's fairly likely that Gwen just does what she does with Courtney, but without Courtney, and Cody's gonna follow her. He doesn't mind. He likes the idea. He just won't be happy when they find Duncan. But obviously they do find Duncan, so that means Team Victory go to elimination. So in this challenge, I have a feeling that the person that would be the worst is probably Lindsay. She wouldn't be able to figure out any clues. I think Rick and Lashana, they're annoyed at this, the fact that she was really weighing the team down. So I think they decide to vote off Lindsay here. All right. Episode 14, that's a non elimination. So what do we have then? We have episode 15. 15 X Files, also for 14, the kiss still happens, but there's not really an incentive. Tyler obviously still sees it, but there's not really an incentive for him to say because Courtney's at home. She doesn't really care. Well, she obviously does care, but she can't do anything about it. So, in this episode, I have a feeling that Brick would be good at this challenge, and so would Lashana. So I'd say they're going to be fine. Even though Brick is clumsy and gets injured a lot in Revenge, I don't think he's going to do what Tyler does. So I think he is fine. Team Victory's safe. Um, I would say again, I would say Team Amazon are probably safe here as well. I think they've got a fairly good team, and I would say that Team Chris is definitely the weakest anyway. So in canon, I think Tyler still does what happens. He falls, he breaks the artifact. But the thing is that at this point, I don't know if Alejandro actually wants to get rid of Tyler because before this, Noah is his biggest competition, and Noah's not here at this point, but he is here now. So I think Alejandro realizes that he really does need to get rid of Noah. So even though Tyler fully throws the challenge and he's annoyed at him for that, Noah is the most dominating, Noah is the most intimidating figure, so he needs to get rid of Noah. Right? Episode 16. I would probably say that I think Lashana and Brick would get away with this challenge. And I would say the same for Team Amazon. So I think Team Chris are going to have to go to elimination again. Yeah, Team Chris go elimination again. And so this time, I'm going to say again, I think Tyler and Owen were the worst. Now it's up to Alejandro. I think he is really, really close to getting rid of Owen. But at this point, I think he's going to realize because obviously, I think he believes the merge is still a while away from happening even though the teams are fairly small, I think there's still a while left. So I think he wants to, even though they're both bad at challenges, Tyler seems to be costing the team more. So I think he decides to get rid of Tyler, just an episode after he scathed elimination the first time. All right. Episode 17, non elimination. Episode 18, non elimination. So we got the merge of Blaney, Lashana, Brick, Alejandro, Bridget, Owen, Cody, Gwen, and Duncan. So yeah, so to do the challenge, we do first boy, first girl. So that would be Brick and Blaney, Alejandro and Lashana, Owen and Gwen, Cody. No, not Owen and Gwen. Owen and Bridget, Gwen and Cody, and Duncan sits out. And just so you know, if none of these guys I think complete it, Duncan would then win immunity on his own. But I don't think that's going to happen this time. I think Brick could definitely do it. I think they've definitely got a chance. He'll know the questions as well, I think. Alejandro throws it. Owen's not going to manage, and Cody's not going to manage. So I would say that the most likely team to win this, other than Duncan, is probably this team. And I would say they manage. So there we go. All right, so let's do alliances then. Alejandro, he's got Owen, Bridget, Lashana. No, that's the thing though. Would Bridget and Lashana go with Alejandro or would they go with their actual friend? Because although his charm is strong, I don't think it's going to stop them from going with their real friends. So if that's the case, I think there'd be a big alliance of Cody, Bridget, Duncan, Gwen, Lashana, Alejandro. He's got Noah, not Noah, Owen, 100%. Now Brick, I think he would quite like the strong male, so I think he would have a good connection with Duncan and Alejandro. And I think he'd like Bridget too because she's athletic. So I would say that's who he likes, but he's not really in any alliances. Blaney, she's with no one, but I think because Rick and Blaney win, I'm going to say that they look over everyone that's left, and Owen is way before the most likable player left. So I think it's fairly obvious for them that even though Alejandro, he's manipulative, they understand that if it is a jury vote, Owen is much more threatening. So I think they get rid of Owen. All right, episode 20. Now that Owen's not here, I'm gonna say switch it up. I'm gonna say I think Brick would manage to win this challenge, because even though there are some contenders like Lashana and Gwen, I don't think it'd happen. But a thing to add is now that Owen's gone, I think Brick spent more time with Alejandro because he wasn't a big fan of Owen because he was a bit of a slacker. But he's nice to everyone, so he's obviously not going to show that. But now that Alejandro's by himself, I think he wants to be with Alejandro more. And I think he tries to form an alliance with these three. But Duncan doesn't like Alejandro, but he likes Brick. So I think once that alliance has been formed, I think Duncan tells Brick that he wants to be an alliance just him. So that alliance is now a fake alliance with Brick, Alejandro, and Duncan. So yeah. So I think he's now over on with Duncan for now. So because of this, because of the fact that Brick wins immunity, I think they look over and now I think they think it is Alejandro's time to go, but at the same time they also really dislike Blaney. But I think that at this point, Alejandro, I think he can get Blaney. I believe he can get Blaney. And I think because of the fact that there's some inner arguments about who goes, Blaney or Alejandro, I have a feeling that the big alliance decide to split up their votes. I think that Bridget, Lashana, they go Blaney. Duncan, Gwen, Cody, they go Alejandro. And so that is 2 on Blaney, 3 on Alejandro. And so the thing is, though, I think at this point, actually, no. I think at this point, Duncan wants to stick with Alejandro because Alejandro's a bigger threat down the road, so he'll get targeted before him. So I think he actually votes with Alejandro, Blaney, and Brick. So I think they all vote for, even though he might not like this, I think Duncan would prioritize the million over the girl. So I'm going to say that they all vote for Gwen. So that means there's 4 votes on Gwen, 2 votes on Alejandro, 2 votes on Blaney. And obviously they know someone's flipped, but they wouldn't suspect Duncan because why would he flip on his own girlfriend? So, yeah, so tiebreaker between Blaney and Alejandro, I think it's pretty obvious Alejandro would win. Right, so now that Gwen's gone, Rick and Duncan have really got a strong alliance. In this challenge, I'm going to say again, this is a 3 time in a row now, but I'm going to say Brick wins immunity here. I know Alejandro could wins it in Canada, but I genuinely think Brick would make it, so I'm going to say he wins. So At this point, I think an epiphany happens to Brick. I think he realized that Alejandro is actually really not a nice guy, similar to Joe in Revenge of the Island, but a lot worse. I think he realized that Alejandro is nothing like what he said. So he actually realizes what Duncan was saying now. When he goes to Duncan, he says, "Oh wait, I realize Alejandro's a really bad guy," and so he wants to get Alejandro out. So Duncan's really happy with about this news. He doesn't like Alejandro. Alejandro's slimy. He thinks he'll be able to get the other people on his side for this one, and I believe he does. I think everyone votes Alejandro here, so I think he goes out. But I think at the same time that because it's a double elimination, who do I think Alejandro would try get Duncan and Brick to vote for because he thinks he's there with him. And so I think out of everyone here, the person he doesn't have control on, so looking for Alejandro's game, um, he didn't directly contribute in Sierra getting out, so Cody doesn't really have any indebting to him. So out of all of them, I think the one he's least connected to is Cody, so he wants to vote for Cody. So he does vote for Cody, but he's the only one that does that. So Cody goes as well with one vote. All right, episode 23. I feel like honestly at this point I can't keep doing this. And it is just kind of like uneven plot armor. But honestly, I would say for the fourth time in a row, the Brick would probably win immunity here. Out of these candidates, I think he's the most likely to do it. So I'm gonna say he does. Now, obviously, I'm trying. Like it is a bit unrealistic if every time I put a character into Revenge of the Island, they make it to the final. But I think it's just the fact that Scott and Brick are really good candidates. But once we get to others, it's not going to be like that. Trust me. But for now, yeah, I think Brick wins immunity. And he's with Duncan, so it's kind of a 2-on-2. And I believe they go for that's tough. They're both really likable and they're both fairly athletic, but I think the Duncan would rather go for Lashana. So I think that's what they do. They do. Actually, no. I think Duncan realizes it's going to be a tie between him and one of their choosing, and I think he thinks he has a better chance against Bridget, so he chooses they should vote for Bridget. Now, who do I think wins? I would probably say Duncan wins this. It's probably a lot closer than he thinks, but I would say that Duncan wins this somehow. All right, final three: Lashana, Brick, Duncan. Now, in this, I think Duncan and Brick are working together, and although Brick is really, really against it. I think Duncan goes behind his back and he sabotages Lashana's boat without Brick knowing, because obviously he would not be okay with that. So this happens, and I think Lashana's way in the lead, but then her boat breaks down. So then Brick goes ahead, and then Duncan just manages to make it ahead and wins. So that means Lashana goes here. Right. So this is the second time, but we've got Duncan and Brick. And just like what I did with Scott, I'm going to make Brick the winner because obviously that makes more sense if the what if's about him. Right, yeah, thanks for watching. See you all later. I'm going to probably continue to do Revenge of the Island characters until I've done them all. If you like them, probably like and subscribe and let me know so I know I should keep doing them. Thank you all so much for watching and goodbye.